Okay, here we go. All right. All right, Truman the Call, Peace and War Times. I'm your host, Todd Kinoo NoopooH, and we're back. I know y'all see the title, so again, we're going to continue destroying this cult. So I'm gonna jump into the memorandum soon as the cans introduce themselves real quick, and then we can get on with the proceedings.
True Peace, Kings and Friends. I'm NoopooH, representative of Noon, by way of NoopooH, the positive forces of nature. I know this video tonight is going to be even a banger, and I'm just sitting back and just getting the information that will help liberate our people from all the deception. True Peace.
All right, let me get the memorandum started, and we'll go from there.
Listen to reason. The following memorandum is the conversation each and every new Nibu of the Ethiopian race should have with NoopooH at least once a day, and the name NoopooH should be pronounced in mind, whisper, or out loud in the numbers order given and before the conversation starts. The numbers order given creates two ends as you read the name, and the two ends made by reading and pronouncing the name NoopooH 9 times stand for NoopooH and New. NoopooH, 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 NoopooH. Remember the promise and covenant with your messenger, and also writer, Afro Unu, and all those who learn, accept, and practice positive nature knowledge and the laws of nature, as explained and described by Noon, your active signs of all the words. Your promise and also covenant having been duly made are binding as following: economic well-being and liberation of the Ethiopian race, mentally, spiritually, and also physically, because it is the time and cycle for this action for your posterity, the Ethiopian race, and because we all, meaning Ripu, Gipu, and Sipu and all adherents dedicate and obligate the rest of our lives to sound right reason. Who is NoopooH? Positive nature knowledge, the laws of nature, also truth, equality, justice and practicing rightness, which is Noon, to the best of our knowledge and also abilities. The time for the Savior has passed. It is now time for the mental resurrection, liberation, justice, judgment, settlement, and balance for all peoples on planet Earth, as promised by the forces of nature and predicted by the ancients and sages of antiquity. NoopooH, please cause it to be.
Okay, so we rolling out of that, and we're going to start the festivities as promised. All right, so this is going to be a nice one, and I hope people take it serious, because we're not playing with this cult, because this filthy cult have been doing so much damage. They are no better than the rest of these weirdo cults that been going on ever since ever since Marcus Garvey came and left. It's like they just an explosion of six ether madness. All right, can y'all see that, or do I need to make it bigger?
I can see it.
All right. All right, so this is called All Prayer Was Plagiarized, written by Jutar Kinoo NoopooH, Noon Ethiopian year 63, NoopooH Mental year 99, 11/20/25. That's like 6 days ago. 40 months, 2 weeks, and 29 days until April 13, 2029 on the Friday. All right, I just tightened this up, I think, yesterday. All right. Bible Interpretation Explanation Book of 1 says, there's a spell upon the Ethiopian, the woolly-haired people the world over, and it is a spell of spiritual ignorance and racial indifference cast upon the Ethiopian by Leviathan from the Caucasian in his Bible. And this is why no one has been able to really unite the Ethiopian in any considerable numbers, and is also why the people of African descent have not been able to make real progress toward freedom and equality. Bible Interpretation Explanation Book of 1, written in 1967 AD by Amanubi Rakapata, also known as Afro Unum. All right, so we're going to get back into the unholy tablets, because this book is such a train wreck, and it had spells upon spells mixed with other universal spell books. All right, and we're going to show you exactly what we mean. So the Bible interpretation said that the Bible is a spell that's been used by Leviathan. All right, now let's take a look at the pages of the holy tablets, right? So we already got this to begin all praise and think about using El Kalon to all. This is what he says, the holy tablets. The holy tablets is what? Divinely inspired. Look, this tablet is a holy, or it probably meant to say this tablet is as holy as your what? Holy Bible in the Quran. So he doesn't put it on the same plateau as the Bible. Now the Bible interpretations, which they love to swear that York wrote, but we keep telling you, nobody writes one thing and then totally do a 180 on it. So we know that he didn't write that. We already know that. But he's saying the holy tablets is as holy as your Quran and the Bible. And look, it is to be treated in the same way. How was that? Now the book spells is casted. So that means he's saying he wants you to treat the tablets just like they treat the Bible. That means the Bible and the Quran, these are the books, are what? Spell casting books. So he wants you to use the tablets to cast a spell just like they would with them. All right? It is to be treated in the same way. This is what? A revelation, right? For you from the Most High to set straight the records, to remove the falsehoods. All right, so we know that these are lies. This is what Leviathan does through Yanun, which means old fish. I told you that. York works for Leviathan. The Quran has not changed the world, nor has the Torah, the New Testament. Neither has the tablets. They have done nothing for us, the Nubians, but we were used to enslave us. So he knows that. But why did he take y'all through Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Sumerianism, all that religions and pantheism? So he knows this is what we keep saying. This is why we kept calling him the Black Jew, the Black Jewish Kabbalist, because they lie. Nothing they say is always a double and triple meaning when they say these things. You have to pay attention to that. So he knows the tablets, because the tablets is filled with Bible and the Quranic information. He needed that in his book to keep everything going, right? The Quran. Okay, so the Most High and His heavenly host have decided that it was time to renew the Nubian history. It is time for the Nubians to have their own scripture for their spiritual upliftment and guidance, which is a lie, because the true information came in 1967, 68, and 71 and 72, which was the Bible interpretation 1 and 2, and the 9-ball counts. That was the beginning. February 5th, 1962 was when the time came. And it took Afro Uno a couple of years to actually produce him and Gipo and Sipo and them to produce the writings that would start the ball rolling. But York is claiming when this book was put out in 96 is when it started to renew the history. This is lies. All right? But he said this because he was trying to steal Elijah Muhammad's followers when Elijah Muhammad said another book was coming after him. So York was producing the book so he could steal the followers of Elijah Muhammad. That's what this whole book really was about. All right, listen to Soundright Cosmic Reason. When we read what Mr. York has said, it comes across like the words in this Black Bible for his cult members are new. And also in other parts, it's just remixed repeats. However, we will expose their Nawapian, Sabian, Heavenly Father to Hootie prayer that is just another spell in Mr. York's book of spells. Sit back and see why Mr. York refused to cite where he got this foolishness from. And that's a big thing too. When you read a lot of his stuff in the tablets, he's just saying stuff, but he's not citing his sources properly. He's telling you, oh, it's a divine revelation. That's why he put this in the beginning. So you'll just believe that it's coming from above. But I'm going to show you that's a complete lie. Ain't none come from above. It was already here. Okay? Tar asked ChatGPT, can you identify where Mr. York got this prayer from? All right? The craziest place where Mr. York had the all prayer place in the Holy Tablets, chapter 2, tablet 3, was called the slaves. Proof that he and his spiritual enslaver, three ether gods, saw his followers as slaves. This is where the all prayer is at. You see? So religion is designed to empower the one that's the head of religion, which are the gods and the people they choose. This is why York and all these people that control religions and cults always will abuse their followers. So this is following the same tactic that the rest was doing. All right? So here you go down here, it says, I'm in the love of it all, and the all is in me. I'm part of it all, and the all is part of me. I can succeed as a part of it all and fail as an individual. I can be all that I wish in all as long as my wish is to stay in the all. I am never alone. The all is I am. The all can I can. The all does I do. So those of us who went back old school know this thing here pretty much by the back of our hand. We can still recite this stuff without even reading it. That's how deep he was casting it. All right, so ChatGPT responds, understood. Here's the deep source analysis of what Malachi Z. York likely drew the structure, phrasing, and ideas of this affirmation. York almost never invented language from scratch. He blended, reworded, and synthesized. This affirmation is no exception. What follows is the closest textual lineage step by step. The core structure comes from New Thought Unity Church affirmations, late 1800s to the 1930s. York's affirmation repeats the formula. I'm in the love of the all is one will be on one with the all can I can. This wording matches New Thought and Unity School of Christianity affirmation, where they say God equals to all, humans equals extensions, expression of the same divine substance, repetition begin with I am. Here is the religious version that predate York's organization in Putnam County, Georgia by 82 years. New Thought Declaration of Principles, core beliefs and principles in the New Thought movement. In 1914, the New Thought Alliance was formed, and in 1916, it agreed to a set of codes that were central to the ideas of most groups. And in 1917, it adopted a Declaration of Principles, which was then modified in 1919. These principles were then in use and revised in the 50s and again in January 2000. So here it goes. We affirm God as mind, infinite being, spirit, ultimate reality, basically all. We affirm that God, the good, is supreme, universal, and everlasting, basically all. That's me putting this in the parentheses so people don't get this confused. I'm just basically, telling you what this basically saying. We affirm the unity of God and humanity, and that the divine nature dwells within and expressed through each of us by means of our acceptance of it as health, supply, wisdom, love, life, truth, power, beauty, and peace. Basically, God is one with all and all is one with God. We affirm the power of prayer and the capacity of each person to have mystical experience with God and to enjoy the grace of God. Basically, all with each person separately. Number 5, we affirm the freedom of all persons as to beliefs, and we honor the diversity of humanity by being open and affirming of all persons. Affirming the dignity of human beings is founded on the presence of God within them, and therefore the principle of democracy. Basically, all. Number 6, we affirm that we are all spiritual beings dwelling in a spiritual universe that is governed by spiritual law, and that in alignment with spiritual law, we can heal, prosper, and harmonize. Basically, all. We affirm that our mental states are carried forward into the manifestation and become our experience in daily living. Basically, all. We affirm the manifestation of the kingdom of heaven here and now. Basically, all. Number 9, we affirm expression of the highest spiritual principle and loving one another unconditional, promoting the highest good for all, teaching and healing one another, ministering to one another, and living together in peace in accordance with the teachings of Jesus and other enlightened teachers. Number 10, we affirm our evolving awareness of the nature of reality and our willingness to refine our beliefs accordingly. As we can see, Mr. York changed the we to I am, etc., and whipped up a portion of his own version of the Lord's Tahuti Lord Shiva's prayer from a few sources. Let's continue. And another thing too, people don't realize when you when you watch and read the old prayer, you basically saying, you know, all does I do, all am I am, and that means you're aligning yourself with all. That means the good and the bad. And people don't realize that if you're dealing with a PDF file in a filthy worker like York, him getting you to say that with him is making him feel like he's not alone in his wrongness. And he's getting you to say an affirmation, but that doesn't make sense, because you can't say, oh, well, I'm talking about the positive. No, because he says about the all is where would you get it from and where would you put it? Means that, so it's saying all is. If you say all is I am, that means you're talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. That means you are aligning yourself with all things, which makes no sense, because no one in their right mind will align themselves with a PDF file if you're not a PDF file. So I couldn't make that. When you look at it from that standpoint, you cannot align yourself with all. You see? Because that is a trick. This is what we're trying to tell. This is 6 ether games. All right, so Chat GPT continues. Emma Curtis Hopkins, 1888 to 1900, she stated, I am one with the all good, all that good, all that God is, I am. See? You can find these quotes in her book written in 1908, The Scientific Christian Mental Practice by Emma Curtis Hopkins. Now, I'm going to state this. It doesn't mean that the stuff that they were saying was original. That's not what we're saying. We know that they got this stuff from the Kabbalah and the Buddhists and all these other people that was here before them. We know that. What we're saying is that York plagiarized from these people who didn't, a lot of these people, when I did research them, they was Masons, they was into the occult, they was magicians. They dealt with a lot of that because this stuff started popping in the 1800s. If you go back to some of my videos, it said that when I was exposing, I can't think of that guy's name, that I was showing that York was copying from him. But he was, he had a lot of access to masonry and stuff, and they was giving him money and all that. He was putting all that stuff out. And he ended up dying after some guys that came around him when he was sick and took advantage of him and wouldn't let him eat healthy. They was giving him all types of stuff, and they got him to sign over all his stuff, all of the books he had gathered in the early 20s, 30s, 40s. He was a real big speaker. He was a high degree Mason, all of that. So this came from when the Jews was saying, when I read that, I forgot what Jew it was saying that they was going to open up the gates of enlightenment into the Kabbalah in the 1800s. And that's where all that Enlightenment era came from. So they started getting into the New Age. All that came from the Kabbalah was being allowed to be open to the masses. Why did they do that? The same way they did it, and they put it in Hollywood and all these Masonic orders, because the Jew have to control the other groups by allowing them to practice the Kabbalah. Even if they're not aware of it, they're being guided to be controlled by one master ring like the Lord of the Rings. That's why the Kabbalah is out. This is why they let women in now, and they have to study the Kabbalah, and then they'll let them in. Like Roseanne, them, all of them, Madonna, them studied the Kabbalah, and now that allowed them to be controlled by whoever guided them into the Kabbalah in the first place. Okay, so this is why the Kabbalah has to be written down and circulated after they created Judaism and all that stuff in the Old Testament and the Septuagint and the New Testament. All that stuff is laced with Kabbalahism. That's how they've been able to do what they've been doing and garnish and control around the world. But now with the sun cycle is here, NoopooH is exposing them, and they can't hide behind white supremacists. They can't hide behind the Democrats and the Republicans and Epstein, because now everything is running back to them. Everything is pointing to Israel, that they are behind all of the criminalities around the world. And they have a saying in the Mossad. They say in order for them to win everything, they say they got a saying by way of deception. That's what they rule. That's a mantra. The Mossad, which is like the Jewish version of the CIA, that's their way. They by way of deception. That's how they're gonna do this. All right. So this lady was saying this back in the 1800s. All right. Another person, Charles Fillmore, born 1854, died 1948. York was 3 years old when this man died. Unity, early 1900s. Look what he say. The all is in me, and I'm in the all. Look at that. In the 1900s, York using this people's stuff 90 years after they was gone. All right? Fillmore taught God is the all. Man is an individualized expression. See, I'm one with the all, and I can succeed as a part of the all, and what? And fail as a what? Individual. Look at that. Expression of what? The all. The all knows through me. The all acts through me. Like they say, the all does I do. This is what they say right here. Right there at the bottom. The all, as long as my wish to stand all, I am never alone. The all is I am. The all can, I can. The all does I do. This is straight plagiarism. Right? But this is why we keep saying that these people are hypocrites, because they fake like they pro-black. They talk negative about Caucasian people, but look what York was doing, right? All y'all got to do is go look these people up, and you're going to find this stuff that I'm telling you. Charles Fillmore was an American author, philosopher, and co-founder of the Unity School of Christianity, often referred to as the Unity Movement. The statements you provided reflect core tenets of his teaching, specifically the concept of the all-knowing mind, God, and humanity inherent connection to it. Even though the word God does not mean all-knowing. This is a lie. All right? The word God itself does not mean all-knowing or none of that stuff. All right? But that's another topic. Fillmore taught that God is not a distant deity, but an omnipresent, intelligent energy, the all in all, of which every individual is an expression. This philosophy emphasizes that through recognition and alignment with this divine presence within themselves, individuals can realize their inherent potential for health, posterity, and spiritual growth. All right, so most of this is a lie, because the nature of the Caucasian race is not divine. There's no way you can be divine when you went around the planet extincting persons, places, things. Okay? They done exterminated lands, water, food. All right. Don't forget the forest. Well, you need the forest to keep the air, to take the carbon dioxide and turn it into oxygen. Y'all killing millions of acres of the Amazon to do what? To build structures that they can charge people to go at. That's dumb. Why is you killing your environment? So in Noon deals with the nature of beings, and nature looks at each race as one being. So by nature, this is the Caucasians race, and they had to, Six Ether through Ghost had to give them a lie religiously to make them believe that they were not as bad as they seen the other people like Hitler and Mussolini and all these different folks that they done brought around the world. And Einstein creating the atom bomb and all that stuff. Y'all drop bombs on Hiroshima and all that. Only you have to be a totally evil individual to even create that, and then get it militarized, and then use it to scare the world, and then you harming the planet too in itself. You understand? And they still doing it with the chemtrails and the COVID shot and all this stuff. Everything they come up with is death. They don't do nothing about life naturally. Okay? Gaza is Palestine is a modern day evidence of them as a race. They've been doing this since they've been on the planet. Okay, the last 3,000 years for shizzle. They've been doing this. All right, so this is just showing you where York is getting this crap from. All right, the quotes highlight two major points of his teachings. God is the all, man is an individualized expression of the all. This summarizes belief in pantheism, where God is present in all things and humans are individual manifestations of that singular divine intelligence. All right, just checking the, okay. Making sure we're good. The all knows through me, the all acts through me. This promotes the idea that the humans can constantly channel and express divine wisdom and power in their daily lives. Source, Google AI. York's structure is nearly identical. York clearly pulled the I am plus all plus unity formula from the New Thought schools. The language, the all comes directly from Hermeticism, the Kabbalion, 1908. This is important. The Kabbalion repeatedly used the phrases, the all in capital letters. Examples, the all is mind, the universe is mental, the all is in all is in the all creates within itself. York lines, I'm a part of the all, and the all is a part of me. I'm one with the all, and the all is one with me. Almost verbatim paraphrase of the Kabbalion central formula. While all is the all, it is equally true that the all is in the all. York adopts the Hermetic capitalization style. Side note, you can also find more on this topic on thewapianism.com. I want to give credit to Chuck. All right, Chuck did a whole good article on this one back in, what's the date on this? I want to say 2021. September 21st, 2021. He did this. He's asking the Wapians, you know, the book, The Sacred Wisdom of Tahuti, was plagiarized from the mystical book called the Kabbalion. All right, so definitely go to thewapianism.com and you can find way more things in this particular section. He got a whole plagiarism section of York. The success fail as an individual line comes from Napoleon Hill and New Thought prosperity literature. York says, I can succeed as a part of the all and fail as an individual. This concept is identical to New Thought prosperity writing 1900 to 1940, especially. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, 1937. Wallace Waddle, Science of Getting Rich, 1910. They taught success comes from aligning with universal mind. Failure comes from acting as separateness or ego. York simply reworded this. So this is the book. You can find it in Think and Grow Rich. All right. And with this guy here, Wallace Waddle, The Science of Getting Rich. So here we keep seeing that York demonizing Caucasian people, especially the males, but then turn around and he's using all of their things. So that shows you that he's a liar and nothing he says can be trusted. All right, here we go. Repetition style taken from Rosicrucian, AMORC affirmation rituals. York was familiar with the Rosicrucians, and York said he was a part of the Rosicrucians. He got a lot of his books where he named all the Masonic groups he was with, and Rosicrucian was one of them. All right? Masonic and theosophical material. In the Amok rituals, especially early 20th century monographs, the structure is, say, affirmation upon rising midday before rest, and begin with the invocation such as, begin all works in the light of the all, I am attuned with the cosmic. York structure recited 3 times daily and begin all prayers by saying El Kinoo all is exactly the Rosicrucian ritual pattern. The all is, I am, the all can, I can comes from Christian Science, New Thought Mirror Formulas, Mary Baker Eddy. Now we got a female he done copied. Christian Science, and her successors used. All right, she was born July 16, 1821, and died December the 3rd, 1910. She taught God is, therefore I am. God can, therefore I can. See? This is the same thing York said. The all can, I can. The all is, I am, right? It's right there. All plagiarism. Thief. York's line, the all is, I am, the all can, I can, is a direct rephrasing placed into Hermetic vocabulary. The ending, the all does, I do, comes from early mystical Judaism, but probably through New Thought. Kabbalistic texts like the Zohar use the concept. The human is a microcosm of the macrocosm. Adam Catman, as above, so below. Well, York almost certainly encountered this through Franz Barden in the Theosophical Writings. This is Franz Barden. Look at him making the devil sign with his hand. Look, on his chin. Franz Barden emphasized the connection between divine action and human behavior, suggesting that understanding and aligning with universal laws can enhance one's personal development and magical practice. This reflects the belief that individuals can manifest their intentions and character through their actions, mirroring the divine. New Thought Kabbalah, Paul Foster Case. All right, this dude here had Kabbalah teachings in his stuff. All right, born 1854, died August 5th, 1948, age 93. All right, York was 3 years old when this man died. All of these sources paraphrased as God acts, so man acts, as above, so below. York substituted the all for God / Ian Soft. York blended these, adding the Wabi terminologies El Kaloon, which is Arabic, and presented it as a revelation. 1996, York releases the All Prayer. This is the date you referenced. By this time, York had read the Kabbalah, quoted New Thought ideas, used Rosicrucian structures, used prosperity metaphysics, studied Kabbalah and Theosophy, mixed Egyptianized vocabulary. El Kaloon, the 1996 affirmations, a synthesis of 100 years of metaphysical teachings, really stealing, not an accident prayer. Summary. All right, chart who said what first. Theosophy, 1875, Christian Science, 1879, Unity Church, 1889, Divine Science, Emma Curtis, 1892, Hopkins, 1910, the Kabbalion, 1908, Wallace Waddles, 1910, the Rosicrucian Order, 1915, Napoleon Hill, 1937, and then York's All Prayer, 1996. So in closing, we see that Mr. York has always rewritten and remixed others' information, even if they didn't originate it. Mr. York's tablets, as well as other books, have been packaged as if it was divine or he had connection to who said it first in his PDF file, Marvel DC Universe. All right, so that's my spiel on this particular one. And so what y'all got to say about that? Then we can move to the next one.
Well, I mean, as far as the all, and how it was broken down, that bits and pieces of all that information was taken from other occultists. That just remind me of another spell that was taught for us to use. Remember when I spoke to you about one of the triads by the name Amun. They used to call him Brother Amun. He was one of the triad.
Mm-hmm.
And then what he did was he set up classes for people to call in, and it was one particular spell that he had those on the phone on that call to repeat, and that was, "You are the center of existence. All things are equal distance from you." So that right there within itself is just like you bringing, just like it goes back to the negative and positive, you being a part of that, and everything around you gonna be a part of, and that's just everything. It's just bringing that negative energy into your space,
Mm-hmm.
even at the.
All right. Karu, what you got going on? Libra was breaking up a little bit. Let's hope that don't happen to you. Good. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Which, like you said, we're gonna get to that because all this stuff got to be revolved. It's not like it's it's right for the time that the Caucasians got it, and that was a part of negative nature updating them beyond the Bible to an extent. Like the Gnostics got a whole different view of Christ. They believe that Christ is the body parts, the pineal gland and the chakra system and the semen inside the man and stuff like that. So a lot of that stuff got to be corrected, and that's what we're going to do. All right, so we're gonna close out with this one, and then we're gonna come right back, and this is gonna be the one that's gonna shock souls after this one. This one, the next one, gonna be a little bit more deeper, but it's worth it. So we'll be right back. So everybody, just give us just a few minutes. Tremendous calm and peace in wartime.